Okay, the 6 cops that are on trial for the death of Freddie Gray, 2 of them are trying to go on the offense, and in my opinion, they have filed a lawsuit that has no merit. So they may be trying to tamper with the jury pool, get some sympathy, but ultimately, I believe that the lawsuit that they filed is going to be, just straight out thrown out. Here's the information on this particular story.
Of Baltimore, a couple of the officers who have been charged their involvement in the death of Freddie Gray, they are now suing State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby for defamation and invasion of privacy. Those officers are Sergeant Alicia White and William Porter. Both are facing charges of involuntary manslaughter for Gray's death in April. They claim, April 2015, they claim Mosby knew the charges filed against them at the news conference last year were false. The lawsuit alleges Mosby made certain statements just to calm the riots and protests in Baltimore. Joining me on phone is attorney A. Dwight Pettit, and he litigates civil cases in Baltimore, but is not connected to this case. So, Attorney Pettit, what do you make of this suit? It seems as if they're trying to go after her for doing what is described as her job.
Well, I think the suit has a long way to go in terms of legal survival. I think what you're seeing there, Roland, in my opinion, is what they call the best defense sometimes is offense. But these cases are very, in my opinion, strangely timed because of the fact that White has not gone to trial yet, and Porter went to trial, and it was a mistrial. And no motions or anything were granted in terms of insufficiency of evidence, and so, went to a jury. And so it's going to be very interesting how you can talk about false allegations or reckless disregard for the truth when the first case went to the trial and Officer White's case is yet to be tried.
Okay, but again, filing suit against her, saying she made statements at a news conference, that's what prosecutors do at a news conference.
Well, I think, here we're talking about prosecutors and judges. In most cases, they are state officials, and they have absolute immunity. Now, that immunity moves to a second degree of what you call qualified immunity, but that usually requires to get past the qualified immunity, you have to show a reckless disregard for the truth. In other words, or falsity. You knew that it was false, and you went ahead and made the statements. But that, in my opinion, is going to also require a certain degree of malice. And I think that's why I said it's a very uphill case, in my opinion, to establish legal liability in terms of Ms. Mosby's conduct, either in court or in terms of making the statements she made prior to court and coming from the statement of charges and indictment.
Attorney Pettit, we surely appreciate it. Thank you so very much. We're going to go to our panel here. This sort of reminds me of the guy in Chicago who is suing the family who sued him for civil charges by saying, well, they're causing me distress because I shot and killed their son, and so I'm going to sue them.
What they're doing is capitalizing on the fact that you got a hung jury and you got an acquittal with the former officer. And so they're trying to say, look, none of these charges are ever going to stick. She must have known they were false. But the problem with that, of course, is they had a hung jury where they had to actually deliberate these facts. As she knew them on that day on the war memorial, these are things she actually believed, and there was reasonable evidence to support the charges. Otherwise, there would have been a trial.
Well, her office also conducted an investigation. So it's not like there was no investigation and, we're just going to go ahead and charge you.
Look, she's not making any of this up. And this is petty, and these people killed someone, or they were responsible for...
The guy died.
Yeah, someone died in their care that they didn't take care of. And personally, look, I don't know if they're trying to taint the jury. I don't know if they're trying to manipulate the local press, but it's very, very obvious that this is just throwing crap at the wall in the hopes that they can somehow intimidate her or intimidate potential jurors for their cases down the road. Because there's no reason to believe that she did not have all of her ducks in order before she brought these people to trial.
Well, again, the reason I brought the Chicago case up, because what you're seeing here is you're seeing these cops, and that's why I'm going to deal with Bill O'Reilly, he's lying behind later. These cops are mad that somebody is standing up to them and trying to hold them accountable.
Exactly, exactly. And that's been the problem across the board for the last few years as we've been watching this with a microscope, that police officers believe you cannot talk back to them, you cannot challenge them, that they're the ultimate authority in our society. They arrest you, they're the jury, they're the executioner. And if something goes wrong, that's our job.
And I'm concerned about her immunity. I'm concerned about Marilyn Mosby's immunity because I want to know where do they get the gumption to be able to go and sue the prosecutor? That just makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, and the only reason they can is if she's actually lying and knew it was a lie and would assume that she didn't investigate. All these things are false. She did an investigation, and she did a more thorough one than many prosecutors do before they decide to make felony charges. And you're absolutely right, Joy. The idea that the immunity that's in question, according to the officers, is theirs. And they are not immune to the law. They're not immune to civil lawsuits. They feel entitled to be able to bring these suits because somebody is acting as big brother towards them. But in reality, they should be questioned. And in this case, in particular, the questioning is right.
And I'm amused by the fact that it's so much easier for a cop to sue the prosecuting attorney than it is for regular people to actually sue the police officer.
Right.
That's what I'm amazed by in this
Well, the
situation.
officer who has not gone to trial, you would think she would want to keep her head down.
Yeah, she tried in this particular case, she tried to get the documents sealed so that she wouldn't have to have any of her statements be before the public because she obviously realizes she is facing one of the more serious charges as the supervisor, as the person who was present to say what you should have done with Freddie Gray in the back of the van. But she tried. The judge said, no go.
This is simply another example of cops wanting it both ways.
Right.
And then they don't want any accountability. They don't want to be checked. They don't want to be videotaped.
Right.
They don't want to be questioned.
Right.
That's all this is, and it's shameful. Final comment real quick.
And even in the face of all that, I have questions about her investigation. You know, that's been called into question, but I'm wondering, really, what kind of case do they have even after she conducted her?
Here's the deal. I don't have any question about her investigation because you know why? You charge somebody.
Right.
You go to trial.
Exactly.
You're either innocent or guilty.
Right.
That's the whole point of the trial, to be able to go through all the facts.
And that's really
so the case is with Nero case. It was a trial by judge. The judge heard all evidence, made his decision. And I think what a lot of people in the public are saying, even if you're upset that the officer was found not guilty, at least you first of all had an indictment.
Right.
Exactly.
At least you actually had a trial. At least you had a public display of the facts.
Right.
The problem is when these cops don't even want a trial, don't even want an indictment, don't even want a grand jury inquiry, don't even want an internal inquiry by the police department. It's just accept my word, and that's
And the prosecutors don't do anything to even bring these to an indictment.
absolutely.
Right.
Folks,
All right, so we're going to see if this asinine attempt at suing the Baltimore district attorney is going to succeed. My opinion is it doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of going anywhere, but you know, they're trying to drum up publicity and sympathy in order to try to get off if and when they actually are at trial and a jury is involved.